I am Bhavesh Patil, working at Tech Technologies as a MuleSoft developer. In RAML Design Part 1, we are going to learn APIs and related stuff. This session will be more specific to the theoretical part. We won't dive into the coding and designing RAML. We will focus on APIs and wherever needed, I will give a live demos that will help you to understand APIs. Without wasting more time, let's start today's session. Here are the points we will be discussing today. First one, what is API? SOAP versus REST, API-led connectivities, API schema, and the live demo of News API. So let's start. I hope everyone is excited to dive into a fascinating world of APIs, exploring what they are and why they matter in our digital lives. So let's start from a very beginning. What is an API? API stands for Application Programming Interface. But what does it really means? Think of it as a waiter at a restaurant. You, as the customer, don't need to go to the kitchen for getting your order. To get your food, here, waiter is serving as an intermediate between the kitchen and you. So, he is responsible to bring a data that you have ordered. In this example, you can be considered as an application and the waiter as an API. And of course, chef or the kitchen will be the server. So the waiter, the API will bring the food like requested data to you without any hurdle and getting into the complexity. So it's like a menu of options that allows apps to communicate with each other and share information and data seamlessly. Now, you might wonder, why do we need the API? Well, they are the glue that holds the digital world together. API lets different software systems to talk to each other, enabling apps and websites to use services from the other platforms. Let's consider you as an entrepreneur who wants to create a Zomato like application. For guiding delivery guy along the way, are you really going to develop a maps, something like a Google map? Not at all. It's already there. So why to consume our working hours and time into building the same applications again and again? So instead that we can use the same, just like how your phones can use the Google Maps to find directions. One can use Google Map API to find the directions for the delivery guys. Doesn't it sound amazing? Your efforts won't be wasted on the repeated task, all thanks to the APIs. Let us now look at some everyday examples. Ever logged in into a website using your Facebook or Google accounts? That's an API at work. Ordering an Uber through different apps? API magic again. Even weather updates on your smartphones. Yep, API fetch the data and deliver it to your weather app. Social media sharing, when you share an article on Facebook or Twitter directly from a website, you are using their APIs to post content without leaving the site. E-commerce websites, online shoppings, apps are APIs to connect with payment gateways. So you can securely make purchases without having doubt if it is secured or not, because the one official API is provided to every e-commerce website. In this example, APIs act as an intermediate, allowing different services to collaborate and provide you with a better user experience. They enable different software systems to talk to each other, simplifying our lives and empowering our technologies we use daily. So next time when you order food, check the weather or book a ride, remember that APIs are working behind the scenes to make it all happen seamlessly. All thanks to the APIs. So now let us now define what are web services. I hope you have come across this term many a times. So, what are the web services? Think of web services as a digital messengers. They are like a postman for computers. Web services help different software systems, often across the internet, to talk to each other by delivering the data in a standardized format. While APIs are like a specific interactions points within the web services. They are like buttons on your remote control. APIs define how software components should communicate, allowing one program to request data or service from the another one. So, what sets web services and APIs apart? Web services, they are like an entire postal system. They handle the logistics of sending and receiving messages, that is data, between the system. While APIs are like the addresses on your envelopes. They they specify exactly where the data should go and how it should be formatted. That's why we can say every web service is an API, but not every API is an web service. Thus, APIs and web services are not mutually exclusive. So you should remember this point. Also, you can expand or learn more about this statement. Like APIs and web services are not mutually exclusive, though APIs are evolution of web services, as both serves the purpose of information transfer. In simple terms, web services are the infrastructure, while APIs are the rules and guidelines that make communication possible. APIs are the evolution of web services, as we have discussed. So now let us go to the types of web services. They are SOAP APIs and REST APIs. For SOAP APIs, imagine SOAP APIs as a letters sent via a traditional postal service. They speak a formal language called XML, a bit like using a formal old-fashioned papers for writing the letter. They have a specific rules like using WSDL, which is like having a detailed guidebook for sending these special letters. But decoding SOAP can be like interpreting ancient scripts, a quite complex things for everyday user, right? And on other side, REST APIs are like a modern day conversations blending multiple languages. For REST APIs, you can imagine as speaking with friend in a cafe. You can use English, French, or even a gestures for communicating with your friend. REST APIs do just that. Using HTTP, JSON, URLs, and even XML, it's like having a versatile menu with many choices, allowing for ease and natural conversation between the apps. Plus, they are guided by a simpler blueprint called as RAML, making them a quite user friendly and more predicted. Like it is like a simple English. You will like if you show RAML code to a normal user or like unknown person layman, so he can also interpret that because it is in a simple language and simple it's a simple English. So choosing between a SOAP and REST APIs is like you can say what to choose. One can decide. So think for SOAP APIs like a formal letter. You have choose them when you need a structured and highly secured, reliable communication. Here are some scenarios like complex transactions for security purposes, guaranteed delivery of your data, and whenever you want to prefer, when you should prefer REST APIs. So on other hand, REST APIs are like casual conversations. They are great for simpler and everyday interactions. So consider REST APIs in the following cases like web and mobile applications. When you want to build application or APIs user friendly, also, for in scalability perspective, REST APIs are more scalable. So making the choice is in your hand. Like choose SOAP if you want structure and formality and security, and REST if you want like REST is known for its adaptability and ease of use. It's like selecting between the formal suit and comfortable jeans. Depends on the occasion and the like work. What is the purpose? So in the end, the key is that the project need and your audience is important. So rose, soap and rest are like different languages in API world, each with its own strength and own flaws. So choose wisely and build the best digital experience for your users. We will be working on REST APIs. Next slide. Now let's explore the powerful approach called as API-led connectivity, breaking it down into three types of APIs that play a key role in the API-led connectivity. First one, experience APIs, process APIs, and system APIs. Don't worry and don't fear from the words like experience APIs, process APIs, and system APIs. We will be discussing everyday examples through which you will obviously get what are the APIs. So imagine a building a house. You start with a blueprint, then wire the electricity, lay the plumbing, and finally add the finishing touches. API-led connectivity is similar, breaking down the building of digital experiences into manageable and specialized layers. So, experience APIs. Experience APIs are like a beautiful exterior of a house. They provide a polished and user-friendly interface, just like how a mobile banking app represents your account's balance, transaction, shielding you from the complexities happening behind the scenes. So in real life example, you can consider a Uber app. So it's an interface where you can book a ride and view the map, hiding the algorithm that calculates the distance and price and many things. So now comes to the process APIs. Process APIs are like a plumbing and electrical wirings. They ensure that everything inside your house works efficiently and properly. These APIs manage the data and processes across the different systems, orchestrating the actions. For instance, handling your online order from checkout to delivery. This will be done by process API. So in real life example, okay, order processing system, it manages the ordering process, coordinating inventory, payment, and the shipping system seamlessly. And now come towards the system APIs. System APIs are the foundation of house. They interact with internal database and software directly. Think of them as a brains behind the scenes, making sure everything is functioning as it should do. In real life, you can consider a database API, an API that interacts with the database directly, enabling the application to retrieve and update data securely and efficiently. Now, system APIs, as we have discussed, are directly contact with the raw data and databases. So system APIs are not provided directly to the users. Similarly, process APIs also are not built considering the user as a main focus. So experience APIs are the APIs which is built focusing the like how you can give a good experience to our users. So experience APIs are the APIs we should provide to our users. Other APIs are remains hidden. Now, bringing it all together, API-led connectivity takes these three types of APIs and combine them strategically, just like the various systems and components of our house work together to create a comfortable living for us. In conclusion, API-led connectivity is about creating a well-designed and efficient digital house by breaking down the complexities into a manageable parts, ensuring a seamless experience for users. Now, understanding RAML, building blocks of APIs. Let's dive into the RAML, a fundamental tool that helps to shape the world of APIs. RAML stands for RESTful API Modeling Language, and it's like a blueprint of our digital creation, digital house. So, what is RAML? Imagine RAML as a detailed plan architects use to design a building. RAML is a language that allows developers to outline how an API should look and it should do the functionalities and how it should interact with the other parts of digital landscapes. So why RAML is important? It's like having a clear roadmap before starting a journey. You should take a blueprint before building the house. If you don't create a blueprint and just start building a house, then also you are like you can accomplish your task, that is building a house, but that won't be much efficient, or many a times there is a possibility that you will fail to do that. So it's a better plan to make a RAML code before designing API. RAML offers a structured, standardized way to design APIs, making the development process efficient and collaborative. The you can say the key features or the importance of RAML is the clear communication, efficient and speed, and consistency. Components of RAML. So next we will be seeing them further. Understanding the RAML is like having a detailed plan stepping out before our journey. It's a powerful tool that guides API developer in building robust and consistent and effective digital solutions. So now for building RAML, like designing RAML, we will be using Anypoint Studio. Let us introduce you to the Anypoint platform. You are all-in-one toolkit for API development and management. So what is Anypoint platform? Anypoint platform is a comprehensive platform designed to simplify the entire API lifecycle from designing to development to deployment or management. So why to use Anypoint platform? So why do we use Anypoint platform? It's like having a magical stick for our APIs. All the works is done here only. Designing, developing, and deployment, and then after management of that APIs. So efficiency, collaboration, integration, and security. Also monitoring of APIs makes easier from the Anypoint Studio platform. Studio platform offers us a design, build, deploy, manage and integrate like functionalities, so it makes user friendly to the developers to create an APIs. In conclusion, Anypoint platform is your secret weapon for API success. It simplifies the development process and enhances the collaboration and provides a robust set of tools to make your APIs shine in the digital world. Now, let us see the components of RAML, or you can say the API schema. Before we dive into the details, let's get familiar with the essential components of RAML. Think of them as a building block, right? The blueprint of an API. So there must be a root, then resources, then methods, URI params, query params, and responses. The root is like a cover page of your API. It sets the stage for the entire design. In RAML, it contains the information like title, version, and base URI of your API. Coming toward the resource, resources are like chapters in a book. They define specific section or endpoints in your API. Each resource corresponds to a URL path and they help to organize your API's functionalities. If you are not getting what are the resources and what are the routes, don't worry, we will be going to dive into each and every one separately. So come toward the methods. Methods are like the actions you can perform within the each resource. They specify what you can do with a resource, such as get, that is retrieve the data, post, create a data, or delete to remove data. These are some common HTTP methods. You can also explore what are the common HTTP methods we use in our day-to-day lives. So query parameters. Query parameters are like optional instructions for our APIs. They let you to filter and sort or modify the data which should be returned. For instance, you might use a query parameter to filter a products by a category or the sort results by the price. So responses are like the content of your book. They define what your API returns after a request, after a successfully validation of your request. So you specify the data format and status code. What are the HTTPS status code? You have usually find 404, which means like page not found. Similarly, there are many HTTP codes. You can find HTTP status code at http.cats. So for like a 200 series is for success and 400 for errors. And example, so for more HTTP status, I have suggested you to refer http.cat website. Now building the blueprint. Now that we have introduced all the components, think of them as an element that come together to form an API. In these upcoming slides, we will be exploring each of them, and this will help you to understand how to craft your APIs design using a RAML. Here onwards, we will be like in each slide, we will be dive into the each of them one by one. So there will be a like syntax, how the code is written in the RAML file, also some information. I suggest you to read it and also explore it from like searching and using ChatGPT to explore what are how we can use them. So let's dive into root. So it contains some basic information as I've discussed in last slide. It contains title, base URI, and version and etc. things. This is like a building a top, like it is a at top of our RAML file. In example, you can see that this is a syntax. You should follow this syntax. You should not question like why there is hashtag, why there is a percentage, why there is a 1.0. So like this is the structure or syntax you must follow. So there is a title that whichever title we will provide, title will come over here, version v1 and the base URL. So now next, resources. So what are resources? Resources are like using the like giving access to the particular resource and particular database. So it decides how API can use to buy the consumers. Resources always begin with a backslash. Any methods and parameters nested under these top levels resource belong to and act upon that resource. Nesting of resource is also possible in RAML. So this kind of thing. There will be a resource, like there will be some you can say the site www.takerevive.com. In that there will be a resource employees. In employees resource there can be a departments. So in employees slash departments. In departments there can be a like many other things you can explore further, or we will be definitely seeing in when we'll be like giving the hands-on session. Next, methods. What are methods? Like functions, like what we can do with our resource. So most of the common HTTP methods are get, put, post and delete. Get is for retrieving the information defined in the request URI. Put is for creating the like replacing the address collection at object level, and post is to create the new entry of the collection, while put is a replacing, like you can say the modifying, updating the resource like address collections. And obviously delete, as the name suggests, delete for the information defined in the request URI. Each HTTP method can only be used for like there must be a like unique method in each resource. There cannot be a different like a duplicate methods. Like suppose there is a employees resource and there is a get method I have written once, so there can't be a another get method within the same resource. There must be a different name. Though they have the same implementation, it doesn't matter, but the name should be different. And obviously we want to write this repeated code, so the implementation won't be repeated. So lowercase must be used for methods in RAML. One can also have a custom methods as they want to name it. but these are some common HTTP methods we will be definitely come across in every APIs. So URI parameters to have a dynamic resources to act upon like more granular objects for our resources used for nesting of resources. Like I can understand someone can't get like URI parameter. What are URI parameter? So let's just find it from example. So as I discussed in www.takereview.com, there is a resource employees. So within employees, I want to access some particular employee. Like I am an employee of Take Review Technologies, Bhavesh Patil. So there can be a resource slash employees slash Bhavesh Patil. So in Bhavesh Patil, there will be a whole detail of what is like address of Bhavesh Patil, what is age, what is salary, what is designation, and everything. So there can be a URI parameter. So Bhavesh Patil will be a URI parameter because it can act as a dynamic resource. So here we can write another name like Rakesh Patil. So Rakesh Patil's information will be shown here, right? So these are the like example HTTP API employee.com v1 is a version employees Thomas Anderson. So query parameters. So as I discussed in first slide, query parameter is for filtering, like performing the searching operations. Like you want to search by the price or search by the category. So in example, you can see in employees there is a employee's name. So in employee's name, we have the query parameter as employee ID. From employee ID, we can like you can segregate or filter the employees. And of course, there must be a response. If we are hitting the URL, we are expecting the response. So there must be a response. So with the response, there should be a HTTP status codes always written. So they plays an important role like 404 for not found, 20 for okay or successful, 201 for created. There are many more. You can explore it at http.cat. CAT. Okay. Each responses may include description, example, and schemas. So in an example, you can see that employees, there is a get method. The get method is like description is for like description is used for the like understanding of our like the description won't be reflected in the APIs. It's for the like developers use. Like you can say the comments in our Java code. So responses 200. So as we execute get query, the if query will be executed successfully, 200 will be written, and in that the body will be returning the JSON type. So if you don't know JSON, you can explore it, or we will be discussing it in the next part. So in JSON, the example is given that successfully written. Consider it as successfully written. So this message will be displayed with the status code 200. So similarly, there can be many responses here. And finally, let's dive into the live demo of our API. Obviously, I have not built that API named as news API, but we will be studying it, and from which you will get a better understanding how APIs work and what are the APIs. So let's go to the news. Before going to the news API demo, I want you to see the bbc.com. Like you can also search, like you can just type bbc.com in your URL path, and this website will be open. So I want to get familiar with what are the resources, how they work, what are query parameters, and all these things. So bbc.com is a like DNS name of the BBC News website. So there must be a login resource from which anyone can log in. So let's try. Like, we know that resource should start with slash login. Oops, 404 not found. So the page is not created. Like resource is not created named as login. But how can it so? Like there must be a login. So yeah, they have created as a sign in. they have not used a resource name as a login. So just name it sign in. So it should work now definitely. So yes, sign in page appeared. So you can give your credentials and password and sign in, or from you can also register now. Like it's apart from, like also there is a register na. You can also try register. So backslash register. So register should be like that website should be come over here. Similarly, you want to go home. So like obviously we are at home. So I want to go in news section. So you can see that news resources appeared here. So in news, I want to go in climate. So news is a resource. Science is also resource. So news is a main resource and science environment is a sub resource. And anything after that will be the sub resource only. In search, let's start. Let's try to search something. Like I want to search who. So you can also see that the search resource is called backslash search and question mark q. So q is a query parameter and we have provided who. You can see that who, right? So if we change here, like I want to make it Bhavish. So here also Bhavish will appear, right? Doesn't it seem magical? Also, if I make some changes here, so here it will be reflected. Q is equal to Bhavish Patel. And there is an AND operator and this like you can ignore this for now. Similarly, there is a work life. So work life will be open. In work life, how we work. So tags. These are all sub resources. So yeah, that's it. And now let's go to the news API. You can simply search news API to the Google. So first one will appear, or you can just type this to get it. Like here, we will be type newsapi.org. Newsapi.org. Right? We got the same website. Okay. So in News API, so they have provided a proper documentation. So you should, or anyone who wants to utilize the News API should go through this documentation. So they will know what are the resources they have made, what are the methods we can call, and what are the rules and regulations on all these things. So they have made it compulsory to get an API key to call their News API. So what News APIs will do? News API will be the API which will be providing the latest news or the news. Like I want to build my own website like BBC News, but I don't have initially resources. Like we have discussed in Zomato application example that I don't want to create a map, Google Map. So I want to utilize the resource other have created. So similarly, I want to create a BBC like news website, but I don't want to like I don't have time to like collect all the resource, collect the news and print it or many other things. So I will be using the news API. So news, I just need to create a front end, and the news API will handle all the responses request and provide me the news. So let's see how, like let me generate my API kit. You can also generate it from here. So let me create mine. I have created my API key. You can also create your own and try it for, like this API key will be required to fetch the news and the data from the news API. You can also create your API and test it. I will not suggest to use mine because they have overall limit of something 100 request per day. So don't use mine. You can create your own. It's so simple. Just provide them your email. So there is a getting started guide. So let's go. So yeah, just refresh. So there should be a, yeah, there is a get method. So for get method there is a, this is the DNS newsapi.org version 2. Everything is a resource. Like everything means what? Everything means they have like there should be, yeah, documentation. So in documentation they have given Authentication. So for authentication, we have created our API. So this will be the authentication. Everything like after everything and all, and API key equal to this parameter. So API key is a query parameter that will be used for authentication, right? So what are the endpoints? So yeah, everything means what? Search every article published by 80,000 different sources. They are from last 5 years. So these endpoints use every resource, like everything. So they have named it as everything. So there is a top headlines. So what top headlines will do? The top headlines or the top up-to-date news they will fetch and give it back to us. So let's try everything. So in everything, so this is a JSON, right? uh, if you have studied JSON, or you don't, like, it's just a data type, data format, representation of data. So yeah, this huge amount of data is given by the this tiny URL, like API. So yeah, resource everything. There is a question mark Q. What is Q? Like, guess what is Q is equal to Bitcoin. So Q is equal to Bitcoin means what? Q is a query parameter, which means Bitcoin. Like, I want a specific news of Bitcoin only. I don't want everything. Like, I don't want to filter it manually. You will filter it for me. So Q is equal to Bitcoin. So any news here you will be seeing, it will be of Bitcoin, like Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, or these things are market business, like, or Bitcoin, all the things are related to the Bitcoin. So all the news will be definitely related to the Bitcoin anyhow, like directly or indirectly, cryptocurrency and these things. So yes, so top headlines. So just replace it from everything to top headlines. Just let's try calling it from our browser. Just put it here. I have put it here. So this is the huge response we will be getting. And don't worry, like, how the one will process this all the data and consume. This is the part of, like, when you call the API or consume the API. This is the other, like, say scene. So status is okay. Okay means what? Which HTTPS status will be written here? Let's guess. Have you guessed? 200. Because we are executing the get query. They have provided the get query only. They don't want to create, like a, they don't allow us to create a news, right? We can create a fake news or manipulate their data. So they have given a get method only. No other method is provided from their end. So there is a resources, domains, languages. So we can also, like, regions they have, definitely they have given. So from and to is there. So we can, like, provide the date from which year to which year there should be a news. Also they have provided the country names. So these are the characters or codes. So there is a US, so US. You can also replace it here. IN, so IN stands for India. So according to, you can explore more. So I don't want to get into, like, how it works and give the proper introduction to the news API. So yeah, there is a, this is the application of the news API. I have used news API for building the my personal news website name as the news jar. So don't worry, like, how I have built this and all. I just want you to get familiar how actually they will be going to work. So, right, this is the website. So in business, so business, so all the business related query and the news will be shown here. So for science, so all the science related, I want to search. So I want to search in science. I want to search who. So I will be searching who. So you can see that here there is no API here. They are not showing API directly, right? They have used internally. So this is the case. So I think this is all for right for now. Okay. Also, if you don't want to log in and create a API key, there is a website which provides free API. So there is a list of free APIs, public APIs, cat facts, and many more. There are many tons of APIs freely available for experience. So I will suggest you can go through these websites and try these APIs. So here is a documentation, like what are the parameters, what is the query, what is the method they have provided. So that's so there is a API, public APIs, entries. So for entries, there is this resource. Here are all the, like for entries, there are query parameters which are obviously not required, but we can give it like title. So title I want you to cat. So you can see just title is equal to cat search. So here cat facts cat, like all the cat will be sorted. As we have discussed, query parameters for filtering and sorting, right? Similarly, there is a auth, differentiation, HTTPS, course, category. So for random, so just write random, so random, right? Randomly, they will select anyone like pinball map. So French and like you can just keep reloading. They will randomly select any one of them. Also, there is a like title, like you can, there is a parameters. Obviously, they are not required. So there is a categories, so you can also try categories. It's all to you, just explore all the things, so you will be get hands-on. Oh, it's like I have mistaken the categories, sorry, categories. So these are the categories. Have you seen that, like if I misspell or like capitalize the word, so they have said like 404 not found, page is not found. So the resource name should be as it is, categorize. If I write category, so they also not provide the same 404 not found. So we should take care of that. Similarly, there is health and all these parameters you can try. Cat facts, coindex. Also, the one website I have said to you, http.cat. So this is helpful for learning the what are the HTTP status codes. So 100 for continue and all this you can explore by your own. There are many more. So some are like very famous HTTP status code like 404. So where it is this 404 not found. Also there are many more you can explore it, right? So that's it for today. I hope you will be exploring more APIs and doing the like hands-on on how APIs work, what are APIs, what are the resources. It's only not only the like restriction to the news API. You can find any APIs from your own. So it's for now. It's okay for now, and we will be seeing all the details of RAML and RAML hands-on session on the next session. So thank you very much from my side. If you have any doubts, you can ask anytime. Take care. Bye bye.